Hi everyone, I am Psycrafter. Why is it still showing that I'm offline? I don't know what's going on with my internet. But yeah, I'm Psycrafter. I'm gonna be going over Higurashi SOTSU. For some reason, my internet's just being a jerk to me. For personal reasons, my partner that I do this with is not here today, but he gave me the go ahead to finish off Higurashi and SOTSU. I'm going to be going basically from episode 6 all the way to the end. Like, this is one massive episode today. So that's. And also, I'm going to have to do a lot of explaining because. Actually, no. I'm not going to bother with the explaining. If you go to my secondary channel, TRScientist, you'll be able to find the playlist. Or if you go to my Discord, I'll make sure I link the playlist as well. You can go and watch the Higurashi episodes. You can also go and watch as early as Death Note on that. But on that, let's get into the notes for episode 6 of Higurashi SOTSU, where we're sort of in the middle of the timeline, and Mion's carrying Oyo all the way down to the Sonosaki bunker to question her about if she's using her power to control Oyashiro's curse. However, it seems that Mion accidentally killed her grandma with the taser, but she remembers there are 2 other families that could be controlling the curse. I just want to note, it doesn't include the whipping that the original Higurashi had. The only detail missing. Anyways, Mion calls Kimiyoshi and asks him to come to talk to Oyo about the car that was stolen from the festival. So we're in the timeline where Mio and Tomitake ran away, which is the second timeline of it's confusing. Basically, we're doing like a simultaneous storyline, but told at different, like told at the same time. But season 1 was the first. Season 2 is like the side story that's also a main story. The next time we see Kimiyoshi, he's restrained on a chair being questioned by Mion about Oyashiro's curse. And currently the Sonosakis supposedly control it, but before the war, the Kimiyoshis used to be in control. Mion's current theory is that the Kimiyoshis have been pretending to follow Oyo's orders while enacting it themselves. Mion wonders how many fingernails she'll need to rip out to get Kimiyoshi to tell the truth, reflecting on how they took free of Shion for the situation with Satoshi, which is a reference to Higurashi Kai episode 17. Kimiyoshi says he doesn't know about any orders about demoning away Keshi, but Mion follows through on her torture and murder of Kimiyoshi by ripping out all his fingernails and putting nails in his head. Like, not the fingernails, actual nails. There's only a great family left, meaning Rika is in great danger now. Rika asks Kechi if he did anything bad last night, to which Kechi words it as some kittens doing something bad. And while Mion watches from a distance, Rika shows her adult voice to Kechi, and this solidifies for Mion that Rika has to be behind Oyashiro's curse. Kechi is told to go play dodgeball with Satoko, and when he's gone, Mion confronts Rika, grabbing her and holding her against the wall by the throat. It's like, and crushing her windpipe. Like, Mion uses the story of Rika talking to someone behind the school to hide the fact that she just murdered a kid. Which, honestly, in this, happens a lot. Joining in the search for Rika, Mion keeps Kechi from finding Rika in the septic tank by saying she saw something on the roof. Earlier, Mion is shown to have dropped Rika down to the septic tank to hide her body through a small hole, but the smallest two hole making Rika get stuck and causing Mion to have to stop on the head. Like, with horror, sometimes you get a bit of comedy in your horror, but like Rika getting stuck, like her arms are like this, and she's like, so Mion has to stomp her head. She's like she's waffle stomping her head. She's having some waffle stomp her head. On the way home, Kechi says it's all his fault, but won't explain why, due to some electricians listening in down the road. Mion carries Shion's corpse to the well and drops her down before going to call Kechi, getting annoyed when he says Shion before correcting himself to Mion. It's like, that's a slap in the face. Satsuko catches Chie talking to the police, telling them to find Rika, and Satsuko hopes the sniffer dog finds Rika, because losing her is the worst thing to happen to Satsuko. Like, yeah. Imagine if Rika actually survived, and Satsuko didn't realize and thought she was dead, and like the whole thing fell apart just from that. Mion manages to get Kechi to go to her place to talk about everything, along with a tale courtesy of Oishi on Mion in the investigation of Kimiyoshi's disappearance. Mion says Kimiyoshi went straight home after his meeting with Oyo, but Oishi clearly didn't believe her fully. And inside, Kechi asks Mion why someone has to die on Watanagashi night every year. Meanwhile, Satsuko uses the empty soy sauce bottle excuse from Higurashi episode 8. It's like, it's such an old reference. It's so good seeing old references to like early moments of Higurashi. And she uses it to visit Mion. Down in the bunker, Mion takes Kechi to the safe room in the bunker, and she locks Kechi in the cell to keep him safe. Mion takes the opportunity to confess her love to Kechi, and that's why she needs to protect him by ending the tradition once and for all. Hearing an alarm from the computer, she checks to see that Satsuko has arrived and is ready to greet her with a gun. So that's what she meant by one of her minions showing up, because Satsuko lives with Rika. With the police watching as Satsuko enters with no Kechi in sight, Oishi prepares everyone to storm the place the moment they hear something. Meanwhile, in the bunker, Kechi breaks out of his cell in the safe room, ready to try to shoulder his way through solid metal doors. Like, dude, it's solid metal. Don't do this. Satsuko says Rika came out of hiding after Mion left, but Mion is convinced Satsuko is lying, pulling her gun on Satsuko. Even though Mion was about to pull the trigger, Satsuko shoots Mion in the gut with her own gun and shoots off Mion's fingers when she reaches for her gun. Ah, not the fingers. Let's just be glad it wasn't a cocaine bear. Oh, yeah. It's a movie title. Cocaine bear situation where two fingers get shot off, but another finger just gets left alone somehow. finally getting the answer she wanted, Satoko blows out Mion's brains, and then her own to follow Rika into the next fragment. Oh, I don't like having to talk about death like that a bit. Because it's so graphic in this anime. Moving on to episode 7 though. Yua is excited to see how Satoko's game is playing exactly how Satoko wants them to be. However, this is just the start of Satoko's ultimate game, saying Rika needs to suffer more. She's confident she'll bring Rika to her knees and convince her to stay in Hinamizawa. Yua warns Satoko that now she has started the game, Satoko can't back out, and says that if Satoko dies before Rika, she'll lose Rika forever. Rika wakes up to her own flowing fragment to Hanyu being too close to her face, and the two talk about what happened in the previous fragment. About how Keiichi gave about how having Keiichi give Mion the doll failed, how Shion and Keiichi snuck into the storehouse, and Kimiyoshi went missing. Not minting. Hanyu tries to say who probably killed Rika, but Rika cuts her off to say it was probably Shion. As Hanyu hugs Rika goodbye again, Satoko finds Rika sitting on a staircase in front of Furude's shrine in the next fragment. Rika takes a moment to confide in Satoko, asking why she has to do this again, unknowing to the fact she's her enemy. Satoko takes the moment to twist it into more manipulation by saying the dream may be a sign from Oyashiro, but Rika just complains about her nightmares going on and on. Satoko asks if Rika may have done something to upset Oyashiro, but to Satoko's dismay, Rika answers no. So Satoko reveals she heard Rika talking in her sleep about leaving Hinamizawa and going to Fancy Name Academy instead. Her words, not mine. Saying one of the rules of Oyashiro is to not leave Hinamizawa. Rika counter-argues with the point that she's allowed to dream and there's nothing wrong with going to certain schools. Satoko fires back with how pretty Hinamizawa is, how you just wouldn't ever want to leave with how nice everyone is. On June 11th, during the baseball game, Rika makes a comment about how Mion is able to hit a lot of home runs, unlike Satoko. Satoko has missed the ball every time it's her turn to bat. However, this time round, she hits a clean home run over school. It's so far gone. Really embarrassing Keiichi and his golf club. I love the detail of the golf club. How that stayed consistent. So the next day, both teams get lunch, courtesy of Ire and the deal he made with Mion. Keiichi teases Satoko, saying he would use his superior reach to hold Satoko back and let her have some bell peppers and eggplant, with Rika joining in to mention roast squash as well, which Satoko is disgusted by. Satoko doesn't like vegetables, apparently. Satoko stands by her tried and true method to deal with everyone, going for Renner's help, which has a 100% effective rate for punches to the face. She just, you bully Satoko. Let's hope Renner's not around because you're gonna get punched. After lunch, Satoko asks Rika for a favor, and she gets away from the cleanup to visit Teppei's unit to play Mahjong. As soon as Teppei's friends leave, Satoko helps clean up and finds the money from the horse race, and Teppei states he only uses what he needs to leave as much money for her. So, yeah, basically in this situation, Satoko set up Teppei with money to hold on to by using the results of a horse race. Because and Teppei is trying to leave as much money for her as possible, which actually is a benefit to Satoko if she really wanted to take advantage of it and just blow Rika up with a massive bomb or something. Satoko asks Teppei to move back to Hinamizawa and live with her to help her with something, lying to him about being bullied by everyone in Hinamizawa, telling him not to punch anyone as it wouldn't do anything. In fact, it would probably make it worse. And of course, word spreads fast across Hinamizawa about Teppei's return, thinking he had to escape Akinomiya because something bad was happening. Satoko collects her stuff from Rika's place to move home, while Yua gets a good laugh out of the situation. Obviously, Satoko can't be the villain because she's a victim. And so moving on to episode 8. While Satoko packs her bags to move back in with Teppei, Rika tries to convince her to stay, but is unable to because it's normal for family to live together. However, the ultimate clincher is the lie that Teppei will destroy Satoshi's room, because in the original it wasn't a lie. He actually was going to do that. So technically, Satoko lied with the truth of a different timeline, if that makes sense. Satoko still promises to meet Rika at the bottom of the steps of Furude Shrine to walk to school together. The rumor of Teppei's return reaches Mion Sanosaki that same night. It's like, man, word travels fast. Satoko prepares to walk to school and Teppei steps in, offering to walk Satoko to school with how bad the bullying seems to be. Kichi and Rena meet Mion late on the way to school because he was telling Rena about his dream related to Satoko, which is actually a memory. When Satoko finally meets up with Rika, she lies and says that Teppei wants her to run some errands for him, which again, lying with the truth of a different timeline. Unable to convince Satoko to go to school, Rika goes to school alone and tells Chia that Satoko might be a little late today. During lunch, everyone decides to wait for Satoko when Keiji notices that Mion knows something, and she mentions Teppei has returned to Hinamizawa. Satoko is waiting outside the classroom, prepared for her dead eyes red routine. I was like, and enters for lunch, confirming Teppei has indeed returned. After school, Kechi asks Rika for the backstory of Satoko and Teppei's abuse of her and Satoshi. Mion mentions they did report this old abuse, but the CWS just said they'll keep an eye on the situation. It's like, okay, that's not a good thing. Satoko takes a moment to lie down and stare at the sky, laughing maniacally at the situation she's created, and rolling on the ground. It's like, woohoo! Gotta get that rolling. When she returns home, Teppei loses it over what Satoko says was a tumble, but she manages to calm him down. The next day, Satoko doesn't even show up to join Rika in going to school. So at school, Rika tells Chia about Teppei's return. Chia plans to visit Satoko's house to get a good understanding of the situation for a truthful report to the CWS, if needed. Over at the Hojo household, it seems Satoko had a cold, but she just wants Teppei to believe that she does. Satoko fuels the fire of lies by saying she doesn't want to go to school anymore, implying her classmates and even Chie are bullying her. With perfect timing, Chie arrives to check on Satoko, and with the combo of lies of Satoko's cold and Chie supposedly bullying her, Teppei slams the door in her face. It's like, no, we don't want you here. Upon returning to the school, everyone jumps to the conclusion that Teppei is abusing Satoko, based on Chie not seeing Satoko and past offense between the two. Teppei gets a sudden call from CWS, and Satoko commandeers the call to talk directly with the CWS and answer their questions. Satoko twists the reason for the phone call into another way the village is trying to bully her by lying to the CWS. Wednesday arises to Satoko meeting Rika at the stone steps to go to school together. Rika asks if Satoko is okay, meaning with Satoko living with Teppei and not the cold she had. Satoko reveals she told the CWS there was nothing going on related to what they were told. Yua notes how Satoko is now only happy when thrusting herself into despair and receiving pity from everyone. Turns out Satoko's acts have are turning her into a witch, as seen in the moment where she froze up in the classroom. This is a good, bait and switch of, in Go, you think this scene is a fabrication of Satoko. Something's going on with Satoko. And then later on in Go, you learn that Satoko is the one behind it. And then here, it's like layers of the same scene, because you think, oh, this has to be Satoko in this moment, because you're built off Go's events, but it's actually not Satoko. It's not Satoko, but it is Satoko in the fact that it's Satoko trying to stop what's going on. So the moment where she froze up in the classroom and is enjoying this moment of basically Satoko losing control. And Satoko's moment of apologizing is a genuine apology for everything she has done. But no one knows why she's apologizing. They think the whole thing has to do with Teppei and the fact that or stuff like that. I don't get exactly what it is, but it's that sort of moment. It is a layered scene, in the best way possible. And now, we're moving into episode 9, where seemingly Teppei has returned to his angry behaviour of beating up Satoko and being worried about bruising her. However, it's revealed that Satoko is watching this moment, which happened at the end of episode 10 of Higurashi Kai. Rika views this moment as one of the worst fragments, but Satoko sees it as a happy fragment, as Rika's attention was all on her. It's she's an attention whore at this point. Yua brings up how Satoko is no longer human or Satoko Hojo, but Satoko denies her proclamation, saying she's still herself. She's still chasing that happy world with Rika, to which Yua chuckles, clearly knowing something. It's yeah. Anyway, going back to the classroom vomit scene, and Satoko is asking to be saved, so Rena asks Keiji to back off. So they're thinking that the save thing is like, save me from Teppei. As quickly as Satoko freaked out, she calmed down, calling into question if she was acting or not. It's like, it is so fast of a calm down in all this madness. It's like did she regain control the moment Rena came over? Like, is something about Keiji causing the freak out in the first place? On Wednesday, June 15th, Satoko leaves the school, leaving Rika worried, and returns to the games club to indicate she wasn't able to make Satoko stay. Once again, Keiji learns about Satoko's false report to the CWS, and Shion suddenly shows up saying she wants to kill Teppei. It's like, oh, okay, here we go. Speaking of Teppei, he's in the middle of figuring out how to make a meal and pulls a Keiji with a glass of oil. It's like, a teaspoon. Teaspoon's this. Not a soup ladle. And not a glass. You... Why? Like, doesn't... Is it just a joke that none of the guys can cook in this or something? He was trying to make a meal for Satoko to make her feel better, but with what he just did, what if someone reported it to the CWS? Satoko knows that if the Sanosaki family gets involved, the CWS will do whatever they say. Satoko suggests they clean the kitchen with great excitement, but the moment Teppei leaves the room, she's just annoyed with his presence. It's like happy, 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 happy. At the CWS, Oishi sees the games club and Shion enter the CWS. I'm curious as to what Kechi is doing there along with Rika, Mion, and Shion. But Rena is a bit of an extra. Finishing cleaning the kitchen, Teppei goes to ask Satoko where the trash goes, but she's fast asleep. As Teppei leaves the room with the trash and bucket of water, Satoko wakes up to the blanket he put over her falling to the floor. It's like, he's actually probably the most changed character, the most genuine character at this point. It's like, he went from the worst character to probably one of the best in the space of however long Satoko's been planning. The next day, Keiji takes to the blackboard to rally together the students of the classroom to save Satoko. All the while, Satoko is enjoying a wonderful start to the day, making food for herself and Teppei, who just got embarrassed holding Satoko's underwear. And Teppei shouts at two villagers for staring at him while he hangs out washing and wonders how he could save Satoko from what's happening to her. Word of Teppei's return has reached Oishi, who assumes Teppei just got too drunk and fought the wrong guy or went after Yakuza protection money out of greed. Oishi has the idea that Keiji and the Games Club might be blowing things up way too much, but based on the amount of times he's arrested Teppei, it wouldn't be a shock. With perfect timing, Oishi and Kumagai catch Teppei walking home with shopping, just for Teppei to suddenly drop to his knees and beg for Oishi's help. It's like, Teppei would never do this sort of thing. Satoko is surprised to see Oishi with Teppei because of the typical situation between them, and asks why Oishi is here. Teppei explains that he wanted to get some more allies on their side against the village, telling Oishi how everyone is bullying Satoko. Oishi asks if he can look around the place, finding a lack of clues of Satoko being abused. Shocked by how far Teppei is going to help her, Satoko laughs at what has transpired, putting sleeping tablets in Teppei and Oishi's tea, and injects Oishi with H173. I feel like H173, like the 173 is actually like the rest of Hinamizawa in some way, but I haven't been able to figure out how to use the old muscle like technique of numbers. I wish I could figure that out. Oishi explains he can't do anything publicly as a civil servant, but if something changes or if they feel to be in danger, to call Oishi immediately. As he leaves, Oishi scratches his neck and looks over his notes on the Hinamizawa murders, wanting to avenge Oyasan's death. And Oyasan's the dam manager from like the first incident of Oyashira's curse. Kumagai asks Oishi what Teppei wanted, but Oishi is keeping it to himself for now. Oishi asks if anything has happened at the CWS, to which Kumagai explains that they managed to get a bigger crowd. Asking Kumagai to wait at the car, Oishi decides to walk around the village and up to the Furude Shrine, with Kumagai providing the perfect excuse of Watanagashi coming up. Oishi comes across two villagers Teppei shouted at earlier, and despite having seen no evidence of abuse at the Hojo residence, seemingly immediately believes the rumour of Satoko being abused and asks them to keep an eye on them. And while at Furude Shrine, Oishi knocks over the small statue that the villagers believe Teppei did and leaves DNA evidence in the form of pee on the torii gate at the top of the stairs. And good thing that the first ever use of DNA profiling in a crime was in 1985. It's like, wow, that is so perfectly timed. 2 years later, he would have been caught. And Japan set up their DNA database in 2004, so 2 decades before before Oishi would be found out. Jeez. Oishi did all this to frame Teppei for vandalism and put him on the radar to be the target for his suspects, the Sonosakis, the murderers in his case. And now we arrive at episode 10, which is a big episode, a really big episode. On Friday, June 17th, Oishi continues his attack on Teppei by dumping bags of food waste all around the Hojo household. Teppei thinks it was the two villagers he saw yesterday looking at him that he yelled at. Satoko manages to calm Teppei down, with him hugging her, which causes a mental crack to occur in Satoko's mind. That should not be a problem at all, right? At the CWS, Nkechi does his speech to the big crowd using the point of Teppei's abuse and abandonment of Satoko to show why Teppei shouldn't be her guardian. Oishi takes a moment to visit the dam dump, the murder site of Oyasan. And also, Oyasan is, not even really a character in this, it's just a detail that they include. I'm like, I have to include it here. Meanwhile, Keiji returns outside to share the news on what they're doing about Satoko's situation and how the CWS will decide in a month, which annoys Shion. That night at the Watanagashi planning meeting, Oishi shows up to the argument between the games club and the council, joining the table to listen. He realizes Keiji fully believes he's doing the right thing, and unknowingly is deep in the harassment of Satoko. This fact is going to help Oishi solve the case of Oishira's curse and who the criminals behind it are. Kumagai is surprised by the size of the crowd, and Kenshi managed to pull together to save Satoko. Oishi decides to surprise Kumagai with part of the truth in saying he should get on Kenshi's good side as soon as possible. Oishi's next move is to talk directly to Kenshi to tell him to disperse the crowd before Kumagai gets him. And with the arrival of Saburo and Ken, Oishi and Kumagai talk to them and get beat by Ken's lawyer skills. While this goes down, Satoko is cooking dinner for herself and Teppei, while Teppei getting Teppei to set the table. All the while, more cracks are created in Satoko's mental state. Oh, we are about to see some mental madness. The Games Club manages to convince the CWS to go get Satoko with help from Oyo, and outside, Oishi offers Harayama a lift to the Hojo household. Mion questions his change of heart, and Oishi answers that he wants Harayama to see it firsthand and asks everyone to disperse for the last time. Teppei is surprised to see Oishi, Kumagai, and Harayama show up to take Satoko away from him. Satoko explains the truth to Harayama and Kumagai that the village has banded together to harass her and Teppei. While the two sit waiting to eat, Harayama takes notes and Oishi and Kumagai step outside to talk about what is going on. Harayama acknowledges nothing is going on at the Hojo household, but with the Sonosaki family weighing in, he doesn't know what to do. So Oishi asks him to hand over the case to the police, to which much to Kumagai's protest. It's like, this is a family matter, we don't take this sort of cases. After Harayama leaves, Oishi brings up that Watanagashi is tomorrow, and how Oishira's curse targets the village's enemies, who are currently Teppei and Satoko. Oishi advises them to stay home during Watanagashi, and will personally keep watch on their house the entire time. That night, Satoko calls Rika after a call to Kechi, lying about what happened with the truth of the original version of the timeline, saying Teppei is now at the police station, while looking at a sleeping Teppei due to sleeping tablets. And Watanagashi has arrived once again, and Satoko is able to go to the festival, which gets the Games Club and Shion excited. Teppei finally wakes to a smiling Satoko, getting fresh air while Satoko lays everything out to him. How at the festival everyone will be paying attention to her. Satoko then pulls her gun on Teppei, prepared to shoot him in the head, but she misses her point-blank shot due to herself? It's like, she's aiming it and then, like, Satoko's personality splits into a good personality and a bad personality, represented by the different coloured eyes and also different coloured auras. The entire fragment collapses into the floating realm, where the two Satokos fight over the gun, and in their red and purple hues, evil Satoko represents Satoko's desire for a happy world in Hinamizawa with Rika going through endless loops, while good Satoko wants all this to end. Yo watches and chuckles while evil Satoko kicks good Satoko, and good Satoko gets all Yuri over her love for Rika. Evil Satoko announces herself to be a witch, and good Satoko finally learns that Yura knew what was going to happen to her from the beginning. It was never Satoko's trap for Rika. It was Yura's trap for Rika through Satoko. Yura ignores good Satoko and talks to evil Satoko allowing her to kill good Satoko and her emotions forever. The world returns to the fragment she's currently in, where evil Satoko shoots Teppei in the head and smashes it in with the baseball bat. And from this point on, I'm literally only going to be referring to Satoko as evil Satoko, like, exclusively. Although right now I'm going to take a small break right now. We're at like the halfway point. I need to go and get a drink of water, so I'll be back in like a few minutes. Okay, that wasn't a long break. I just needed some water, really. And with that, we can move into episode 11. After the braining of Teppei, evil Satoko notices how bloody she got and washes herself off in the shower, finishing getting herself ready by the time Rika arrives. At Watanagashi, evil Satoko puts up with the teasing from Mion about being scared to be alone at the Hojo household, and how Yuri Rika makes it sound when they sleep together. Ooh. With everyone together, it's time for the Watanagashi 6 Demon Battle Royale, since they have Shion and Keiichi there this time. Even Rika is happy to have everyone together, unaware of what's about to happen. As Rika performs her ritual dance for what she thinks is the last time in 1983, Hayu prays for Rika, and Keiichi gets dragged away by evil Satoko for a private conversation. Evil Satoko thanks Keiichi for everything he did to help her out of the situation with Teppei, and asks Keiichi if she can call him his Nini. Back at the Hojo household, Oishi is watching the house to see evil Satoko and Keiichi return to the house. The moment Keiichi turns on the light, evil Satoko hits him over the head with the bat for him to see that Teppei is dead and he's joining him. Evil Satoko then plays up the victim card for Oishi's attention, allowing him to find Teppei and Keiichi dead, with evil Satoko lying that Keiichi was talking about Oyashi's curse and that he invited himself over. Oishi comes to the conclusion that the person behind the curse told Keiichi to do all this. While evil Satoko continues making up the entire story using points from the original version of this timeline, Oishi connects the dots to Satoshi, the cursed victim from last year. Oishi takes the bat as proof of Oyashi's curse and the Hinamizawa murders. I just want to take a moment here, though, to talk about how evil Satoko uses plot points of the original version of this exact moment, which was in Go, or Go, however it's pronounced. That means, like, there's multiple ways that this can work. Like, in the, like, evil Satoko does note that Teppei woke up early. Like, earlier than he should have. But, so, one possibility is that both are correct. They both happen, but it's like different timelines. But there's no way both can be true to get to the same result of what happens at the end. The only real answer here is actually Higurashi Go basically set up a fake scene to hide the fact that Satoko is evil, which it is a risky move, and I like the fact that they took such a risky move on it. It's not the best plot point though. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we made up a whole scene that happened, like that Satoko, like evil Satoko made up. Evil Satoko asks Oishi about his neck, which he explains it's itchy while he asks the dead Kechi who ordered him to do this, allowing evil Satoko to throw Rika under the bus. Oishi races to Watanagashi, much to evil Satoko's joy, where he attacks Rika with a chokehold and kills many people, including the games club, except for Retta. Retta's the other one that survives. Oishi finally figures out that evil Satoko is behind everything before getting headshotted by her. And Rena gets to witness all this, even seeing evil Satoko shoot Rika and herself in the head as well. It's like, you need to eliminate Rena, Satoko. You're getting sloppy. I know that it's like, it's Rena, she's probably not going to remember, but don't take that risk. Why am I helping a killer? Why am I helping a basically a sociopath? In the floating island so we're moving on to episode 12. In the floating island fragment, Hayu is praying when she's surprised by Rika's return. Take a moment to reflect on how she took on the sins of the world 1,000 years ago. Hayu's daughter was the one entrusted with Hayu's sacrifice, and during that millennia, Hayu despised the world. The seal that kept Hayu separated from the human world would be broken if the Furude bloodline had 8 consecutive generations, with the firstborn being female, and Rika is that 8th. So she literally is Oyashiro reborn. Turns out that Hayu is responsible for making Rika one that lives in loops, a grave sin in her own eyes. In a flashback to episode 19 of Higurashi Kai, Hayu introduces herself to Rika's class as Hayu Furude. Rika explains that Hayu is a distant relative of hers, slyly leaving out the detail that she's one of time, not distance. With Hayu's existence in the real world, she was able to protect Rika and her friends from Mio's bullets, like her gun fire. Hayu starts destroying fragments to heal her horn, which leads to Rika being able to remember what happened with Oishi. Evil Satoko thinks that Rika's new ability to remember her deaths might make evil Satoko's methods more effective. Rika loses it on Hayu thanks to now remembering everything and the knowledge of being pulled back to 1983 at any point. But the worst thing to possibly happen for Rika is to lose Hayu because she'll truly be alone with her gone. Hayu tells Rika that about her holy sword, how it can kill people that live in loops, and that it's hidden in the Oyashiro statue as her final words. So, in the next timeline, Rika chooses to play hide and seek throughout Hinamizawa, but she's the only one hiding. Evil Satoko searches for Rika up at Furude Shrine, and also checks the ritual storehouse, remembering she once hid inside once before. Climbing inside and looking in the head of Oyashiro's statue, evil Satoko finds and takes the sword, unaware one of the tips broke off after she nearly got herself a shot. after she nearly got herself with the sword. It's like, woohoo! That night, Rika finds there is no sword, but there is still the sword tip that broke off. Ultimately, before Rika could remove herself from all timelines, her friends find her in the ritual storehouse. Across the next few timelines, evil Satoko lies to Akasaka about parasites taking control of Rika before H173 him. After Kane decapitates Rika, evil Satoko shows up, which Akane is quick to realize before getting shot, draw the brain by evil Satoko. It's like evil Satoko is like able to dodge the katana. It's like, when did evil Satoko learn how to dodge swords? Although, I guess that's part of her weird skill set. During Rika's swim in the swamp, evil Satoko was chilling and timing to make sure Rika was dead. As the Angel Mart incident plays out, Yua enjoys the show when suddenly Yua's flying fragment gains pink fractures to pretend the arrival of Hayu, who was searching for Yua. Yes, we've got Hayu's still around, and she's succeeded in her mission. Upon finding Yua talks about being upset when she learnt that Vier, who is a character from Sakonia When They Cry, which takes place after Higurashi, it's like, we're talking about a character that's from a future event in the past at the moment. And this character Vier has apparently lost her memories. Yua uses the fragments to show how Rika's suffering in yet another death, this time by Keshi's hands. Keshi asks Rika how to get rid of the parasites in his neck, and Rika tells him the cure is her brain, telling him to eat it. He is actually about to eat Rika's brain when the police burst in, knocking him down with a riot shield. However, Keshi knocks the depending officer back with a fork and a headbutt. And while the whole commotion is going on, evil Satoko gets up to tease Rika's dead body about how she has no one to support her now except for herself. Haya and Yua start using their powers to fight each other, but Yua easily overpowers Hayu and restrains her to a wooden rack. Like, it's in the shape of a cross. It's like an X sort of shape. In what was going to be Rika's final fragment, evil Satoko kneels over Rika as she breaks down and asks why everything is happening to her in all these realities. Evil Satoko explains that Rika has been cursed and that she has eviscerated Rika's stomach. All the while, Hayu is forced to watch evil Satoko rip apart Rika's guts with the ritual ceremonial hoe and begs Yua to make a stop, which makes Yua laugh with malicious joy. Rika apologizes to evil Satoko about what she had done and that she won't make that mistake again. In the next fragment, the Games Club play their game in the river, and after the game, Rika talks to evil Satoko about the 2 long dreams she had, saying that she wonders why she ever dreamed of anything else. At the same time, Hayu keeps screaming at the fragment like a sports fan screams at their favorite team on TV. It's like football. Wanting Rika to hear her, trying to warn her about evil Satoko. Yua talks about how Rika will never find out that evil Satoko is behind her suffering. And as June 15th rolls around again, Rena asks about how she shouted at her dad. Rena talks about how she shouted at her dad for coming home drunk again. Higurashi asks how she could do something like that, and evil Satoko chimes in to say some moments require a harsh response. Rena even talks to Rina, and the two plan to help Rena's dad with his problems. Watanagashi goes about the incident. In fact, even better than normal with Mia's confession of her plan to kill Rika. Irie's clinic is shut down, with all the resources removed on June 21st. Tomitake visits the next day to talk about Mio going to jail and that he'll be waiting for her release. That afternoon, Rika tells Evil Satoko she'll stay in Hinamizawa forever with her, and at night, Rika remembers her death at Oishi's hands. On Thursday, June 23rd, Rika decides to go buy Evil Satoko a present at Da Vinci's Toys, buying her a teddy bear. The next day, Evil Satoko's birthday, surprisingly. Rika suddenly experiences a memory after her death of Oishi, by Oishi of Evil Satoko killing Oishi, which should not exist unless she wasn't dead just yet from Oishi. So, does the kill, if we're counting kills here, would the kill be Oishi crushing her neck? Or the headshot she got from Satoko? It's because she has a moment that shouldn't exist. Evil Satoko gets her presents from everyone. Catchies and encyclopedia on vegetables, Rena's a cute figurine, and Mion's tickets to Angel Mort's dessert fiesta. When Rika pulls out her present in the same box that had the punching glove, Evil Satoko ducks, announcing that it's obviously a trap. But Rika reveals it's the teddy bear she got for Evil Satoko's birthday, forcing Evil Satoko to reveal she was behind everything. And now we have caught up with the end of the end point of the timeline so far. And our last two episodes are going to have a lot more fun. Evil Satoko's present to herself is to kill Rika and herself. She'll get the rest of the games club. It's just like bang, bang. Suddenly, waking up on the waterside, Rika freaks out from the truth that Evil Satoko is behind everything. When she reveals she knows everything, Evil Satoko stabs her in the throat with a fork. It's one of those safety forks as well that you shouldn't really be able to stab someone with, before twisting and pulling the fork to stab Rika some more, finally turn the fork on herself. It's like, yes, blood diseases. Let's share them around. In the next fragment, Evil Satoko gives Rika the cartoony pen in the face with a touch of hot oil, taking the opportunity to complain about St. Lucia's. Next up, Evil Satoko uses her bag to super smash ultimate Rika into a rice field, punching and drowning Rika. She even continues punching Rika in the face in the next world, all while shouting at Rika for her wanting to follow her dream. And tossed into the next fragment, Evil Satoko continues to beat Rika up, this time with books at the bookstore. It's like Evil Satoko is getting creative now. We're getting all the violence. Evil Satoko goes to punch Rika in the face again when the fragment is suddenly switched to Watanagashi night during Rika's performance, much to Evil Satoko's shock. With Rika on the offensive, Evil Satoko picks up the ceremonial drum and tosses it at Rika, which she dodges with the drum hitting a bystander. It's like, oh no! In the process, Rika knocks over a torch, setting the stage on fire. I love how, at first you think Evil Satoko is in control, But no, someone else is just switching up the stage. And obviously it's Yua doing all this. As Rika punches evil Satoko, the fragment changes again to when they are at St. Lucia's. Evil Satoko kicks Rika down and stomps on her while complaining about having to study because she hates it. Meanwhile, the fragment changes again back to Hinazawa School, where Rika gets the upper hand and smashes evil Satoko over the face with a chair. She gives him the chair, saying her dream is to go to St. Lucia's with evil Satoko. Both girls fall out of the window into another fragment of the two of them rolling down the mountain in the rain. Evil Satoko tries to stab Rika in the head with a stick, complaining that at first Rika did try to help her, but then she got interested in the other girls. Rika manages to kick evil Satoko high into the air, but she gets a safer landing due to another fragment switching back to St. Lucia's with a table under her. Better a table than a high drop. Evil Satoko then uses the tablecloth to hide the punch she delivers to Rika's face. And with another switch of fragments, we get what has to be the ultimate homage to the original Higurashi, to the Rena Nada versus Kechi with the baseball bat fight. It's like, we are getting a real fight this time. Like, the Rena versus Kechi fight, it was more Rena was trying to kill Kechi and Kechi was trying to save Rena. However, this one is, they're trying to kill each other for this. The detail that's interesting is that they both want to be with each other, just at different locations. So, Rika wants to be with Satoko at St. Lucia's, and Satoko wants them to stay in, Izawa together. All the while, Yua watches from a comfy four-poster bed and stops Hanya's escape attempt by going Super Saiyan. It's like it is no joke that it literally looks like Hanya tries to go Super Saiyan to escape. Hanya is certain that a miracle will happen that will end in Yua's defeat. Yua asks Hanya to show her her miracle, of which Hanya asks Rika to give her a miracle. Man, when you say a lot of words a lot of times, you really just lose how to say the words. With the roof stained in their blood, both Rika and Evil Satoko show their true natures. Evil Satoko being super serious, and Rika being her not sweet self. Evil Satoko charges her with her attack, and Rika defends with the baseball bat, but when Evil Satoko headbutts her off the roof, she follows up by hitting her so hard, she smacks Rika into the wall underneath her. It's like, she goes full on. The actual violence, it leaves like a dent in the thing, like in the wall of the school. That's how hard she hit Satoko over in the back of the head into the wall. Rika finally puts her looper-killing knowledge to good use, nicking Evil Satoko's neck with the sword tip in the ritual storehouse, and her outfit turns into a maiden's outfit. Evil Satoko gets her part of the sword from the damn dump, and smacks Rika across the entire damn dump in one swing, somehow not killing Rika on accident. With all players with their respective killing weapons, both of them charge up their attacks and fight Dragon Ball Z style. Rika being blue and Evil Satoko being green, which lines up with their outfits. So Rika having her blue sundress, I think it was, or something like that, and Evil Satoko having her green sundress. Even when Rika is pounded into the ground, she recites Club Rule 2. Always strive for victory with everything you've got. Rika's determination to change fate turns her colour gold and causes an explosion to go off between the weapons and form it into one weapon. Both of them run for the sword, but Rika reaches it first, only for it to be kicked away by evil Satoko as a fragments transition puts him in front of Irie's clinic. More fragment shenanigans happen, with them going from Irie's clinic to a cell in the Sanosaki bunker to a random room. Like, I was not able to figure out this room. Like, it's probably like, is it like it might be Kechi's room, or it might even be like it's a member of the games club room, I'm pretty sure. Unless it is in the most weirdest way. What's that? That one, like one of the kids, like the kid that had a crush on Rico, or the one that had a crush on Satoko. One of them. It's like, that'd be super weird. But from that random room, they go falling down through the shrine stairs. It's like, how are they not dying from falling down basically the entire staircase of Furude Shrine? Yua sums up this wild fight perfectly. They want to kill each other, but also don't, because they want the other in their desired world. And at the very bridge Kechi dropped from in Higurashi episode 13, evil Satoko says why they both die, and Rika shouts she'd rather reset the universe. Rika manages to get the upper hand on evil Satoko and gets the sword, which entertains Yua. Hayu uses the opportunity to escape Yua's bonds, only to nearly face first herself into Yua's weapon. It's like last episode, and it's still a bit of a doozy, this one, because there's a lot to cover. Haya tells Yua that long ago she didn't believe in miracles, being unable to change fate until it happened with Rika with help from the Games Club. With all of them, Haya learned that miracles don't just happen, you have to make them happen. Yua launches Hayu across the flying domain with her weapon, tired of what she believes to be a charade from Hayu, and dropping furniture on her head. Instead of killing evil Satoko, Rika throws the sword away to punch her in the face, and the sword falls into the raging river as evil Satoko gets some punches into Rika. As the two grab at each other's face, the sword plunges deep into the river. So much so that, meanwhile, Hayu escapes the pile of furniture and uses Hinazawa's motto during the Damn War as a distraction for the sword to arrive in her hand. She gets the sword. And during Go, there was a piece of corn fluff that got sucked into the ground, or into the riverbed. That's what happened. That's basically a hint of that's what's gonna happen to the sword. It was that little bit of fluff was a setup for the explanation of how the sword got to Hayu. Hayu launches herself at Yua, slicing through furniture like a hot sword through butter, striking Yua's staff. While performing this attack, Hayu uses her ability to destroy more positive fragments with everyone to break the staff in two. With one devastating attack, Hayu damages Yua's horn, reducing her to Hayu's size. And since Hayu showed Yua a miracle, she's forced to leave due to their deal. All the while, Rika and Evil Satoko are arguing their points to each other and trading blows. and they get drawn by double. Like, literally, they punch each other in the face and knock each other out. Finally, back to the correct age and time. Rika apologizes for leaving evil Satoko all alone, and that she'll help her study. But evil Satoko denies her offer of studying. Rika relates looking at the problem as a looper is a way of developing allergies. Evil Satoko says she was trying so hard to keep up with Rika in the good class, and Rika acknowledges that if she's studying so hard and still failing, schoolwork really isn't for her. It's like, yeah. Ugh. Well, that's not fun. Mion, Rena, and Kenshi find them at the water, clearly worried about her clothes and bruises, but evil Satoko says Rika's punches are weak and the two are still sharing verbal punches. Even in the car, the two are avoiding eye contact with each other. Mion tries to find out what happened, but Rena convinces her they've already talked it out, and therefore the reason for the fight isn't important. At least there's one thing they can agree on: they are no longer friends. Rena says that no one has to do everything together. Keiichi adds his understanding of what a friend is, saying that even if you are not around someone or not wanting to see them again, that next time you see them, you both know what that relationship is still there. Despite their different desires, evil Satoko and Rika eventually hold hands. And for the first time in the entire show, Hinamizawa is finally shown in spring with everyone wearing their spring outfits for the opening. From the opening. Rika looks around her house for the last time, ready to go to St. Lucia's, trying to take the calendar with her. So, the weird thing is, this is technically a new timeline. Like, basically the ultimate timeline, I think it's supposed to be. Because this is taking place with Rika getting accepted, but Satoko not following Rika. Which is, it's not, like, the way it's shown is not obvious. It's just like the two of them holding hands, and it's like transitions to the point of time where Satoko just didn't do the study, but Rika did. And it's like she's taking the calendar with her. It's like, imagine if the calendar was the main reason. It's like, don't take the calendar, Rika. It's trouble. At the train station, Rena, Keiichi, and Mion say goodbye to Rika. And while evil Satoko watches from a distance. And Rika's Shinkansen train is going from Hikari to Tokyo. However, the real-life location of Hikari is nowhere close to the location that inspired Higurashi in the first place, which is Shirakawa-go. And I actually want to go there at some point and actually, like, take a moment to walk around the locations and stuff like that. If I ever get to go to Japan. Evil Satoko finally walks over to say goodbye, and to give them space, Keiichi and Rena drag Mion away. She wishes Rika a happy life on her lonesome, but Rika knows she'll make many friends because of evil Satoko. They both acknowledge they need time apart due to their looping lives, being eternal, to strengthen their bonds of friendship. Evil Satoko promises that she will come looking for Rika if she doesn't see her for a while, and if evil Satoko comes after her, she'll run away. In attempts to avoid each other, they'll end up meeting again, sooner than they think. Oishi and Kumagai end up running into Oya and Akane at the town cemetery, with Oishi wishing everyone a good year. So we're basically in the credits of the episode at this point, and Chie is attending to the school's beanstalks when Tomita and Okamura come out to help her. Other characters go about their business, either talking with villagers or enjoying a drink at a cafe. Okonogi took a plane out of Gogura Airport to an unknown location. Although, apparently, Okonogi makes an appearance in when the cicadas cry. Oh, no, when the storks cry is what it is. Because cicadia means storks somehow. At Ire Clinic, Ire is surprised by the return of Miho and Tomitake, who are together now, and Satoshi finally wakes up. Evil Satoko gets her own surprise in the form of Teppei showing up with a bunch of meat and veggies he got on sale for a potential sukiyaki party. However, she's not interested. Shion then comes out of nowhere to hug Evil Satoko, mentioning she missed seeing Rika off due to having work at Angel Mall. Evil Satoko decides she needs to go after Rika, but instead decides to give Satoko back her body. That's right, I was justified in calling Evil Satoko the entire time. Satoko is excited to have a sukiyaki party, displaying all her usual manners. Shion notes that it's still a lot of food, suggesting to fight Keiichi, Rena, and Mion to the party as well. Conveniently, all three are walking in their direction for an easy invite. Hanyu sits atop Furude Shrine to watch over Hinamizawa, happy that everything worked out well for Rika in the end. But it just means that Rika and Hanyu will probably never meet again, which is not the best ending for Rika, but hey, honestly, Rika gets an infinite life now. Like, having an infinite life is a bit of a win, really. It's just, you got the terrible version of it, how it's like, if you die, you get sent back to 1983. Although, now that you're in a perfect timeline, you can just figure out how to live as long as possible and keep this, and like break off a section of the sword each, and so you can actually be like, live to like 70 or something, like 70 or 80, and then it's like, I'm happy, and just, you know, pass on by you know, performing certain actions. Anyway, that's actually it. I thought it was going to take me 2 hours. It only took me like an hour and 20. Probably because I'm alone and I don't have my partner talking insane to me. So for this section, for YouTube, links will be in the description to both the channels and to Twitch for you guys to check out. And don't forget to subscribe and hit notification bells so you know next video comes out. And I'll see you in the next video.